A very good morning to everybody. Weather Extra. Sunday morning. Hope everybody's having a good start to the day. And waking up this morning, I didn't have to track any rain on the radar. Unlike yesterday at this time, it was pouring for parts of the area. Many locations yesterday had a true soaking rainfall where it picked up over 3 inches of rain. And it all came to a conclusion about 6 o'clock when this one band of heavy rain just kept training over the same spot. Unfortunately, that was Toyota Field. And it rained so heavy, so fast that even though the rain moved south in time for the first pitch of the game, the field was not playable. And they had to cancel the Trash Panda game last night against the Clingstones. And they will play doubleheader today. Now, got to steer the storms away from Toyota Field for that to happen, because there is a chance for storms again today. I don't think the coverage will quite be as much as it was yesterday. For those of you who missed out on the rain yesterday and feel like you have no idea what I'm talking about this heavy rain that hit the area yesterday, then it was more like bad luck than anything else, because many locations had some rain. I think the Albertville area, Boaz, Sardis City area kind of missed out on the rain, did. And there were a few other holes elsewhere, but most locations had some decent rain. So what do we got going on now? Fog has burned off this morning. Oops, let me pull fade up. Nope, I messed this up. Don't. There we go. Now I didn't mess it up. And then I got to put my little circle box back. Okay, good. I'm figuring this out. Hey, temperatures right now around 80 degrees. You know what we did yesterday? We didn't hit 90 because with the clouds and the rain in the forecast, temperatures got stuck in the 80s, but it was still really humid. The dew point temperatures are off the charts. They're still in the mid-70s. They were yesterday. They are today. And therefore, it still feels pretty gross outside. But probably have a chance to hit 90 today. And the reason why is, well, one, there's a lot of sunshine already happening for parts of the area, like in the Shoals right now, where it is 81 degrees and looks like it's mostly sunny. Now, not the same in Athens when I checked moments ago. There's some clouds just starting to break up now, but still 81 degrees. So the longer you hold out on the rainfall and the more sun you have, the higher chance you have of hitting 90. If the storms start to impact your area first, then you'll probably get stuck in the 80s. We're all humid. Again, I don't think the coverage of rainfall will be as much as it was yesterday. I think it will be a lot less. And if you do have a storm, it will likely be a big rainmaker immediately. It's like instant downpours as soon as something pops. But yesterday, the coverage covered a lot of the Tennessee Valley. Today, I don't think it'll be quite as much. Let me see if we got any comments. Hey, D, what do you got? Good to see you on. And Brett is on. Good morning. Morning, Jeff. Good morning, Brett. Good to see you on. Sarah says, just popping on to say hi and hope you have a blessed Sunday. Oh, you are so sweet, Sarah. Tell Daniel, all the little ones, tell them I said hello. Have a good day. Edna Hardiman, good morning to you. And thank you for saying hello. I had somebody yesterday, it was so her name was Cheryl. And she says, I go on to Weather Extra and I watch you do the weather, and I never say hi, but I just wanted to say hi now. If you're watching, you can say hi. It's okay. I don't bite. I promise. You can say hi. You can ask me any question you want to ask me. If you ask me a serious weather question, I'll try to answer it the best of my ability. I want to talk about the 10-day a little bit, though, because I want to, because it's my job, and I got to fulfill my Weather Extra obligations. So let's talk about it for a moment, because I'm not completely sold on that whole thing right now. You're like, what are you talking about? So Sunday, Monday, yes, good. Chance of scattered showers, thunderstorms both days, temperatures low to mid-90s. Boom. Tuesday, it gets interesting. And this is going to sound very familiar to what happened last week. Area of low pressure, possibly developing near Florida, tracks along the Gulf Coast, maybe brings in a little rain to the north. It should sound familiar because this happened last week, and it was supposed to be Dexter. Now, it never got named, and that's okay. It doesn't matter if it gets named. It's still a big rainmaker. And the reason why I talk about this is because, one, it looks like the low pressure actually drags this pseudo little backdoor cold front into northeast Alabama on Tuesday. So the storms on Tuesday maybe a little more than just rainmakers. Could be some gusty winds for especially areas like Jackson County and DeKalb County. We'll keep an eye on that. But why I bring this up is because what it does is that low pressure actually ends up retrograding along the Gulf Coast and moves westward, and then brings in, like the GFS, for instance, brings in a tremendous amount of rain to the north for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. If this all sounds familiar, it should. It literally just happened last week with what was supposed to be Dexter and didn't get named, right? If that happens, if the GFS verifies, there is no way we're hitting 96, 95, and 95 on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because it would bring in a lot more cloud cover and tremendous amounts of rainfall. And the GFS reflects that with its forecast. The forecast highs are only in the 80s on the GFS. The Euro follows the same path along what it's thinking as the GFS. It's just not as bullish or is not as aggressive with the rain lifting north and keeps it mainly at the coast. And therefore, those temperatures could come to fruition. So, still a lot to iron out with that forecast. The one thing that holds true is no matter where your temperature ends up in the next 10 days, it remains humid the entire time. And just depends on the rainfall opportunities after Tuesday. Kind of throw it up in the air on how it plays out. You know, how much rain lifts north. Does that really come to play? Does that low pressure along the coast really have an impact? And that will play a big part in what the temperatures do. You know, if you have clouds and rainfall, we saw it happen yesterday, you could squash those temperatures and take a day off from the 90s. It's a good decade, but we took a day off and we were in the 80s. And that was a good decade too. I was there for both of them. But the temperatures themselves hinge so much on sunshine, cloud cover, how much of it do you have of each, and if you pop some rain, especially some thunderstorms where you can bring down a little bit cooler air, it can also change your temperatures that way too. Sarah, I will, thank you. Good. Tegan, good morning. Always a pleasure to see you on. Jay says the heat index for today, probably around 100. Depends. Again, goes back to what I just said about the sunshine. If those storms come in and they affect your location, your heat index won't be 100. But if you stay dry and you pop a little sunshine, you get to 90 and you have a heat index close to like 98, 99, or 100, that's what it will feel like. But if you pop some storms like we did yesterday, and your location, Jay, is one of them that gets a storm, you won't have a heat index that high at all because your temperature will come down. Carolyn, good morning from Albertville. One area that really missed out on the rain yesterday. Not much for you. Good to see you on, Carolyn. Thank you for saying hi. Hi, Beverly from Killins in the house. Good to see you on. Thank you for stopping by on this Sunday morning, which has turned out to be a beautiful morning once the fog burned off. There was a little bit of fog. It wasn't crazy, but just enough. Just enough. Hi, Michael Terry. Good morning from Colbert County. Good to see you on, Michael. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that. And hope you got some plans outside. I was talking to, oh gosh, what's his name? I think it's Alex. He was talking to me. He said, hey, I got a round of 18 yesterday. And I think he lives in Colbert County. And I said, yeah, it looks all right. You just got to dodge the storms. And that's what the summer pattern that we have is. You know, a lot of you will ask me, hey, can I get outside? Can I do a pool day? Can I be golfing? Can I go out in the boat? Can I do a little fishing today? I think yes to all the above. Just stay weather aware in the afternoon. Have a way to get updates, you know. I mean, the storms yesterday had a tremendous amount of lightning, and we don't want you having outdoor plans, especially near water where you have all this lightning. And those storms yesterday had a lot of cloud to ground lightning. I'm actually watching for Toyota Field at like 6 o'clock because I was on air last night. And I'm seeing this like band of heavy rain that's just parallel 565. It was like lifting north, lifting south, lifting north. And I was like, wow, they're getting soaked. I'm watching the algo cameras and it's just tremendous rainfall on the highway. Everyone's slowing down and pulling over, right? And then I look over at Toyota Field and I know there's a lot of people at the game already because you go there early. They don't cancel the game until you get there. And I've seen all this cloud to ground lightning, the backdrop of Toyota Field. And I'm like, yeah, it's the last thing you want. Very scary. Hey, Sean, what are you doing, buddy? It's good to see you, my friend. Good stuff. Grilling and swimming. It's daughter's birthday. I don't know your daughter's name, but I wish her a very happy birthday, my friend. It's good to see you on. I'm sure whatever you're grilling is going to be fantastic. I have a feeling that you're probably like the best cook ever. And yeah, swimming. Just be careful of those storms in the afternoon. I don't think it's going to be a widespread issue, but something you got to watch. I've had like the worst luck with rainfall for me personally. Every time I want to go outside and do something, it rains on me. So my house is like a magnet for rain in the month of July. If you don't think you've had enough rain in July, just go over to the Jeff household and I will for sure funnel you over some rainfall because it has poured at my house this month. And I do have a way to gauge it. I talked about this yesterday. I have one of those, I have essentially a weather observation thing where my temperature gauges my rainfall, my dew point. It's pretty cool actually. And set up on the back deck. And I've had over 7 inches of rain at my house in Northwest Huntsville. It's crazy in July. And it's pretty, I think it's pretty accurate because it matches up with like our estimated radar totals too. So, hey, Mike Gentle, good to see you on. Grilled turkey omelet this morning. Oh, I'm jealous, man. I am so hungry. I was kind of worried about Weather Extra because I was in the other room and Tatiana's just waiting on me. She's like, get in here, Jeff. What are you doing? So I finally come in, but my stomach was growling out there. And I was like, boy, if that comes up on air, people are going to think that I starved myself. But that sounds fantastic. Grilled turkey omelet. I'm so hungry right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm craving tacos right now. And I can't tell you where I'm going to go today, but it's somewhere in Huntsville, maybe near Bridge Street. And it's going to be so good because the tacos are epic, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I can't wait to go. Marilyn, good morning to you. Thank you for saying hi. And Peggy Lynn's in the house this morning. Good morning, Jeff. Thank you for what you do. I appreciate that, but I thank you for being here on Weather Extra. Otherwise, nobody's listening to me if you're not here talking to me right now on Weather Extra. So. Brother Harris, is it going to storm today and what time? Checking in from Lauderdale County. If we get some storms today, they will be in the afternoon between noon and 5 p.m. Whatever flares up will be a heavy rainmaker. Right now, forecast guidance not really throwing a lot towards Lauderdale County. It's mainly along 65 and east, but the way I would play this out is I would consider the entire Tennessee Valley have a chance for some storms. And if you have a storm, it'll be some heavy rainfall, and it'll probably be a lot of dangerous lightning as well. But trying to pinpoint exactly the location of every storm that pops is nearly impossible. Talked about that yesterday morning. It's a lot of, I said this and somebody made fun of me, but it's a lot of nowcasting. What I mean by that is once they pop, I've made this reference many times. It's like popcorn kernels. And you pop, and they start going crazy, right? Well, that's what happens with these storms is where they pop initially makes a big play in what happens the rest of the day because the other storms will play off those first storms and they build off the outflows and wherever the boundary is set up. And the boundary yesterday was up to essentially from about, say, Russellville to Decatur to Huntsville and maybe just a little south, maybe like Lacey Spring, Valamoso Springs, and then up to Gurley and Jackson County. If you were south of there, like southeast, you had very little rain. And there was one little band off to the north and west that hit Lauderdale County, which brought some totals up to about an inch or more. But the main playing line where the 3-inch amounts were from about Valamoso Springs east up northeast into Jackson County. And if you're not in that band or in that line there, you had lesser amounts. Just depends on where it sets up. Angela, the heat is okay, but the humidity keeps me humble. Stay hydrated, everyone, and don't forget about the puffs. Angela, that's great advice right there. When the temperatures get hot and humid, there's a lot of common sense stuff you want to do to stay hydrated and be smart, and always check on the pets too because they're very important. Very important. Clara says, good morning. Good to see you on. And Mike says, I bet it's Taco Mama's. I'll text you. I'll send you a message. But yeah, it is not Taco Mama's. No. But I love that you know that. Taking guesses at what it is. If you guess right, I'll just nod like that really quick. Anyway, I love tacos. Peggy, I do tacos on days that aren't Tuesday. Peggy says, my heart breaks for some of the canines. In this heat in my area, I leave bowls for cold water out because there are so many just blistering in the heat. And that is sad, Peggy. And yeah, I mean, I'm a huge dog fan. I love cats too. I love horses. Whatever animal you have is great. But I'm a huge dog fan. And yeah, in this time of year, obviously any kind of dogs that are neglected, it's going to be tough for them when the temperatures are so hot like this. So But I try not to think about it too much because it makes me sad. But yes, always be very supportive. If you have some dogs in your area, you put a fresh bowl of water out. That's very kind of you, though, Peggy. That's good. All right. Hang on a second, Mike. I got you. I have a moment. Hang on a second. All right, Mike. There you go. I sent you the secret place. Christina, good morning, Jeff. I appreciate that. That's Christina. That's very kind of you to say, and that is makes my whole day. I bet it's Del Taco. Hang on. There you go, Christina. I get so much trouble right now. Anyway, if you're in the vicinity today and you're down there and you want to hang out, just call me. I'm just going to be down there stuffing my face. But anyway, let me pull up the 10-day forecast again. There we go. So as I mentioned, it's not quite cut and dry right now. I like the forecast for Sunday, Monday, and even Tuesday. Tuesday would have a chance for maybe some stronger storms for Jackson and DeKalb County. Otherwise, they're just big rainmakers with a lot of lightning. The coverage today will likely be less than what it was yesterday. A little more on Monday, and then a little more on Tuesday for areas east. Right now, we back off on the rainfall for Wednesday through Friday and really jack the temperatures up. That's all going to be hinging on what happens along the Gulf with an area of low pressure. If that low pressure were to bring and pull up a little bit of rainfall or tropical moisture up into our area for Wednesday through Friday, that would mean more clouds and more rainfall, and that would definitely subtract some of those high-end totals on the temperatures there and bring them back down a little bit because you just wouldn't have as much sunshine. But the one constant for the week ahead is it's going to be incredibly humid, and this time of year that's almost impossible to avoid in the Tennessee Valley where the icky stickies are in full force. And it could take a 93 and 94 and make it feel like 103, 104. That's how hot it can be, right? All right. I'm going to go. I'm on my third shift in a row, so I'm going to be very excited to have the rest of the day off. And with that said, Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis will be in tonight, but we have a very special treat for you all. Is that we have added a fourth member to the weather team. Her name is Jada Russell, and she is fabulously fabulous. And she will be on air, I do believe, tonight at 10 o'clock. Brad's going to be here, and he's going to cover the 5. And that's all we have at 5. No 6, right? 5. And then she's going to do the 10, and I think he's going to be here kind of hanging out with her and stuff. And if you haven't had a chance to see Jada or listen to her talk, she's incredible. And she was on TVL the other day and introduced herself to all the Tennessee Valley, and you'll get to see a lot more of her in the recent and soon-to-be weeks because she's going to have her regular schedule starting, which is great. And then Eric Burke is back on tomorrow morning. Yippee, 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 yay, because that means Jeff gets to do beep, beep traffic, which is great. Like those traffic days. And then I cover TVL at noon, and then Brad will be back Monday night. So we got you covered. We'll keep the updates coming for you. I didn't make any adjustments to the 10-day. I kind of left it as it is, and we'll see how it plays out for this week ahead. Cool. I caught up to all the comments. Are you good? Yeah? I'm going to sign off now. Everybody have a fantastic day. Enjoy your Sunday, and we'll talk again soon.